What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about The Last of Us Complete Collector's Edition. Want to go over the details, want to go over some hot takes that probably aren't really all that hot. And so let's start just by kind of going over the details. So, brand new game, quote unquote, brand new game coming from Naughty Dog, introducing The Last of Us Complete Collector's Edition, featuring a beautiful steelbook case, American Dreams comics 1 through 4, with a new cover art and a set of 4 lithographic art prints. And then you're going to be doing this through, of course, the PlayStation Direct, or direct-playstation.com. Now, it comes out in July 10th, 2025 is the release date. You're going to be doing this through the Direct if you want to do it. Couple things to kind of throw out there. I get it to an extent. I think where I would probably fall on this issue, right, is I think this is at the same time an absolutely horrific look for them. At the same time, completely understanding them doing something like this. This really is giving me Kingdom Hearts vibes. I don't know if anybody else out there would even dare to make such a comparison. Love Kingdom Hearts, by the way. But Kingdom Hearts, of course, is very famous for repackaging the same games like 18 times. If you think Naughty Dog has milked The Last of Us, they have, but they have not done it nearly as much as Kingdom Hearts. One can only dream of giving us games as many times repurposed as Kingdom Hearts has done, okay? Only a few could ever dare to match something like that. Okay, with that being said, a lot of that's jokes, by the way. Don't take it too... This is the internet. Don't take it too seriously. At the same time, I do understand it. At the same time, you have The Last of Us Part 2, obviously coming on PC, just happened. So these re-releases of The Last of Us games have happened, right? They've occurred, and they're kind of out there. You have the show that's, about to start and is going through late May. It makes sense why you would tie that with this. It makes sense why you would tie that with the remaster or putting it on PC. At the same time, a couple other things to throw in. Number one, it's the complete version, but there's no factions. Now, I would not expect... that's more of like an optics thing. That's more of maybe even me nitpicking. I do love factions. I think it's a great part of Last of Us 1. I want to go back, actually, years and years later, and I have played it maybe like 5... Actually, leading into The Last of Us Part 2, I played factions again. Freaking adore it. Okay, you don't have that. So to call it the complete edition without having part of the first game, because you do have Left Behind as part of this, okay, but you don't have the multiplayer. Understandable, but again, I'm going to nitpick the title there. Number two, the title being complete. Now, the title, actually, the word complete is in red, which is an interesting thing to throw in there, leading a lot of people to speculate, like, is this it? Now, one thing Kingdom Hearts has done rather well, right, is they always label in arcs, right? A lot of those kind of things label things in arcs, and I like that because you can kind of keep track of it, and when you make something definitive, you're only making it definitive in that arc. What's interesting about this is we've had Neil Druckmann really push back on the idea of The Last of Us Part 3, right? Like, majorly. There is no Part 3. If the stars align, there'll be a Part 3. All this jazz. When you do this and you call it, like, it's the complete version. Now, I guess depends on how you look at it. Do you look at it as in complete, as in this is the story of The Last of Us and all that The Last of Us has been and will be? So there's nothing left to say, right? You could look at it like that, and if you take Neil's words for, like, you believe him, okay, because I actually don't believe him, but if you do believe him, then this actually aligns quite well, right? It's like, well, he's always talked about that, these things feel very definitive, and then now you have this edition where this is it, right? So they might never do this again. Okay, again, kind of understandable in that way. Also, the Steelbook kind of freaking rocks. They make note that the physical versions of both, because, you have to talk about when it comes to PlayStation, when they do these collector's editions, when they do these Steelbook cases, half the time, actually probably more than half the time recently, they don't actually come with the disc inside the Steelbook, right? It'll be the Steelbook, and then you open it, and it's just the code. It's not actually a disc. They've done that with God of War, a couple other, I think Spider-Man. So I will give them actually praise on that. Like, is this the definitive Last of Us? It actually is. Now, this does not... I know I'm jumping around. I'm sorry about this, but I'm just trying to nail, like, every single point that I can think of. Does this help them optically that all they do is The Last of Us? No, the beginning, making fun in a lighthearted way of Kingdom Hearts. I will definitely do the same thing with The Last of Us. Like, this again is understandable, but also kind of understandably a joke. Like, you've got to be kidding me, right? Because we're doing this again. Now, does this actually take all that much time to complete? No. Is this preventing them from making Intergalactic? Is this preventing them from making a Part 3? Is this preventing them from making a brand new game? In all reality, it is not. So just to be fair, okay, to be kind of be fair to both sides, because this is kind of getting ridiculous that you're selling us The Last of Us. I mean, to be realistic, isn't it like 4 or 5 times? Like, this is insane. You've really repackaged the same game multiple times, and you're getting to laughable territory that, again, only Kingdom Hearts and a few others could ever really think of, ever really be considered part of that group. But at the same time, it's like, well, the Steelbook case is actually pretty cool. This is, besides factions, legitimately the place to get these games now. It's a pretty good price, honestly, for the situation. You get a good amount of stuff. You get the physical games. So, there is value. And to be honest with you, this is something that I think down the road, I don't think at launch. We're about to get hit with some games. The fall is, of course, going to have the Switch 2 could be freaking however many hundreds of dollars. Who even knows at this point? I don't think I'm going to drop $110 to play 2 repurposed games I've already played, all right? But at the same time, I can understand the value from a certain perspective, okay? Interesting situation. But I guess, there's the angle of it of like, again, just the laughable part / here's the value, here's what it's worth. If you care, you get the thing or you don't get the thing. I'm not going to judge. I think a lot of people will judge. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't really care. If you don't want to get it, that's completely cool. If you want to get it, knock yourselves out. I probably will get it down the road. I feel like it'd be kind of a cool, literally it's called collectors, but I do think it'd be a collector's item at some point in the future, okay? But again, maybe equally as important, that's why I wanted to kind of address that in this video as well, the idea that, is this it? Because, complete could just mean complete up until this moment. And that's the thing, again, with like arcs. I think that's why you call them arcs, because you can say, the Master Xehanort, right? Like, that's an entire arc of Kingdom Hearts. Now, that's basically the entirety of Kingdom Hearts up until this point. Now it's the Master of Masters, and they've moved on. But still, when you call something the arc and you put it all together, it is a definitive version. You know what I mean? Like, that is the definitive Kingdom Hearts experience, but then you could do more of them. With The Last of Us, it's hard to justify ever doing a third game now, because if you do a third game, what are you going to call it? And I know that maybe that sounds stupid. Maybe I'm nitpicking it too much, but calling this complete, and it's like complete so far. You know what I mean? Like the story so far. Because if you have a third game and you ever want to repurpose all 3 of them together, what do you legitimately, how do you sell that? Because you've already sold people on this idea of the complete Last of Us experience, and then you're going to have a third game. So to me, okay, let me say this, and I'll let you guys go from this video. My honest opinion is they're doing this because of the show, and also because I don't think we're getting a new Last of Us game for like 6 years. That is, in my honest opinion, why they chose now to do it. Because I do think there'll be a part 3, but it's going to be after Intergalactic on the PS6 so many years later, which, by the way, just ridiculous. Just like unreal in all reality. But I do think it's going to happen. But by that point, I don't really think any of this stuff actually matters, at the end of the day. So I think, it makes sense to kind of put these 2 things together, call it the complete experience, because you're not going to get the next game for years and years and years anyway. That's just my theory. We'll see. Maybe it never happens. And that actually would make this make more sense. If you never got another Last of Us game, this would look slightly better. I still think it kind of looks ridiculous because of how many times you've put these games together or redone these games. Right? Technically, it's the first time you put them together. But that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.